suppose starting from second level, it was the CAO choice, and then I was actually studying to become an architect, so I was doing technical graphics art construction studies, and then things didn't look so promising, so it was just adopt physics, just see how far you can go with that. So I was doing physics and computing in WIT. No, I suppose you just general people, just encourage thinking. They like, seeing you solve problems. So I suppose as I was working before, people would pick up that I liked figuring out things. I liked doing a bit of research. So I suppose supervisors in Pete Henry were nice, and they gave me more of a research capacity. Typically, wake up around 8, get into work. And then it changes in phases. So there's there's more of maybe different types of weeks. So depending on our schedule with Lisa, there could be quite a document-heavy one where we're trying to explain to other people how our systems are working and how to explain it. And then other weeks, because it's still quite early, there's a lot of exploratory analysis, evaluation, prototyping. So there's a lot of very intensive code. And then within the company, there's also a lot of research into Gaia Data and understanding the satellite and what's going on. Within the role as system architect, you have to try and design. See, this is all for Gaia Data analysis, which happens in 3 years, but the data is huge. It hasn't really been this big before. It's a petabyte in size, so you can't really just download that at home and then work on the data. So we have to try and figure out how do we get scientists to write code that we can take and run beside the data in the ESA's data centers. And so you need to make the system flexible to not restrict them from doing any type of analysis that might come up in 3 years. There might be a whole new type of data analysis available then. But you also have to make it simple and stable. So you want to provide functionality out of the box so that they're not doing everything from scratch, but you want to give them flexibility, and it's trying to balance all of these things at once. So flexibility, functionality, and then ease of use. I think understanding what Gaia Data will do in terms of science, you'll be able to, with the data, part of the analysis will be trying to find new alien planets, because it'll track 1 billion stars within the galaxy, our galaxy. It'll do a lot more than that. It'll determine their spectrums, like types of radiation coming off them, speeds, but also all their 3D positions. So it's not just we know where they are in the sky, we know their distances, so we can make a 3D map of this. So really building the system that people will be using to do that is quite exciting. It's definitely got a purpose, which is nice. I suppose I did computing, which is nice. That wasn't an official, that was in the CBS in Tremor in Waterford, but computing wasn't an official subject. They did it in partnership with UL, I think. But they did, it gave you, I suppose it gave me a starting point. When I was very, very young, my dad brought down an ancient computer called a Commodore 64 from the attic. It's like, here, have a go at that. And then there was books back then, like adventure books. And in the end, there'll be 3 guys going to a tomb and they have to try and figure out some angle to bounce a laser or something off a mirror. So there's this code, and that's in the story. And then at the end, they show you all the code. So I was typing this in, trying to figure out what's going on. Didn't have a clue most of the time, but that started it off. And then once you have confidence in any language and computers, you have enough confidence to say, yeah, I'm sure I can try and learn this. It's just a different concept. I can already program. I think the most rewarding thing in general would have been launching a glider. So when I was in Pete Henry, I was dealing with cloud computer systems, and they were very enjoyable. But I had a physics interest, which you can't just ask your employer to adopt and give you physics problems with. So I was like, right, I'm going to try something. And me and a friend, we looked at a high altitude video that was recorded, and we said, we have to do this. We have to give this a shot. So we both researched this together. We both bought the helium, the weather balloons. And I ended up building a autonomous drone, which had I think an Android phone I wasn't using. And I just programmed it in Python, and I got an Arduino, which is like a small microcontroller. And I was using digital electronics skills then for my undergrad. So I put all this together, tested it, and I made it so that it would, based on GPS coordinate, it would try and figure out where it was, what its orientation was, and then it would autonomously fly back using different maneuvers. And it was all recording high definition videos. So, and there was like parachute releases, weather balloon releases. It was all very, very interesting. It's really a combination. I can't say there's a single one, because even with my degree, it's always a combination of skills. There's always the physics with the computing, the space science with the computing. I'd say get a lot of work experience, do a lot of different, adopt new technologies, try and test out new ideas. Don't stay in your comfort zone for too long. I suppose anyone who's going to do that will already be avoiding their comfort zone, because it's not nice when you're doing the same thing for years and not really doing anything new. I suppose they're already going to be driven to try something new. I suppose in physics, just go for it.